He does have two knives that are under his body, and this is the very strange thing about this case. The state's theory is that she placed the knives there, but here's how they describe they found the knives when they get there. That the knives, there's a red handle knife and a black handle knife, and there's one knife, the black handle knife is under his right bicep, and the red handle knife is under his left arm. It seems very strange for someone who's trying to stage a shooting. You know, you'd think she would put the knives in his hands if she was trying to stage it. But if he had fallen, the knives obviously would be near his body. What's also strange is that even though this is what these two officers told Investigator Parrott, nobody took any pictures of this. All the officers on scene, we have no pictures of this.
Milton indicated that she doesn't know what happened to that first call. It dropped off, and then the defendant called 911 later. We don't know what happened to that first call either. The only one that does is Ms. Jackson. What we do know, Your Honor, is that in that call that I provided a copy of the transcript to Your Honor.
The first call.
It is. In that call, Your Honor, which lasted approximately 34 seconds, there's not one mention of threats, danger, fear of her life in that call until the very end of the call, where she says, back up off me with those knives, and then before giving Mr. Smith any opportunity to deny having knives, she fires a shot and shoots and kills him. You'll note earlier in the call, she says that she's going to have to shoot him, and she wants him out of the house. She says, get out. She, earlier in the call, accuses Mr. Smith of having a gun. Mr. Smith denies having a gun because, of course, he never had a gun. In fact, he vehemently denies having a gun in the 911 call. Again, it's argument, but I would suggest to the court that Ms. Jackson is very calm in the 911 call, and again, doesn't raise any issue of knives until literally less than a second before she fires one fatal shot to the chest of Mr. Smith, killing him. And then after shooting him dead, says, you know, back up off me again. The interesting thing that we would note to the court is that that 34-second phone call terminated by Ms. Jackson. And then the second call to 911 was not until approximately a minute later, a full minute or close to a full minute later, where she called back to 911. What she did in that 60 seconds, of course, we don't know. Ms. Jackson knows, and she's the only one that knows, but it's the state's position, given the location of the knives, that she took the opportunity at that time to go retrieve knives that were in the kitchen area and place them at or near Mr. Smith's body to create this staged self-defense. What Ms. Milton failed to note in relation to the location of the knives, Your Honor, as reflected in the report, is that the responding officers, when they first arrived, saw, of course, Mr. Smith lying there with a gunshot wound to his chest. They saw the location of the knives and noted them, but they did not photograph them, as Ms. Milton indicated, because their first concern, understandably, Your Honor, was to render aid to Mr. Smith. They attempted to render aid. Obviously, they were unsuccessful in doing that. But they both responding officers indicated to the investigator that the location of the knives were such that the handles of the knives were sticking out, not the blade, but the handle of